Cryptocurrency market right now is having a little bit of bounce, but is this going to be the big bounce? No one knows, but what I can say for sure is like next 2 to 6 months is actually going to be a huge opportunity. Yes, we were correcting lower, yes, we were coming down, but that doesn't actually deny the fact that right now we are in a massive opportunity. And if you look at the market right now, you understand this market is right now a macro market. It is moving based on the macro events. You look at the inflation rate announcements, how the market reacted. Then you look at the Fed rate hikes, how the market reacted. That kind of all boils down to one point: what we are looking further. Right now, you have a macro market where media suggests like, okay, this is not that bad, but you personally have to go look at what's happening right now, what is coming ahead. Right now, you just got the inflation announcement, which happens to be the biggest in 40 years. Now, what's going ahead is going to be 27th of this month, where Fed is going to hike the rate. Now, the general consensus is that they're going to hike 75 basis points, but I'll be surprised if they do 75. Because if you look at what happened before, here you'll definitely understand like, okay, fine, they did 75 last time, but before that it was 50, before that was 25. So if you are taking into account of that, now you should be getting 100 basis points. If not, the market may tank. Why? Because they understand, okay, if this is 75, they may do another 75 next month, anticipating the inflation to be even higher. Fine. Whereas if they do 100 basis point now, that's a good news. Even though it's big, it's good news. Why? I'll actually take you guys through that as we discuss through this. But right now, the narrative from the mass media is this. Now, if you believe this, it's completely up to you. But look at the reality. They're asking you this question like, okay, we don't think like it's so bad like 2008. Do you think like that? It's not that bad like 2008. But what is the reality? I think it's going to be much, much worse than 2008. Now, I'll actually give you my detailed point of view. But if you are receiving value, please do consider hitting the like and subscribe button as we continue forward. Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where we discuss crypto and science behind investing regularly. So as we move forward, we definitely have to understand like, okay, what's happening right now? Yes, we did talk about people having issues, but the mass media is sharing you the opinion like, no, this is not going to be that worse, showing the delinquencies are not that high. Fine, I'll say it right now. Why? Because if you are looking at these facts, you are like, okay, people are cutting back. They are trying to slow down their expenditure because they do see a lot of uncertainties in the market. Now, if you are looking at this, it really shows you like 63% are struggling to pay their mortgage or rent, with 31% saying their ability to make payments is already having issues. And if Fed is going to hike the 100 basis point, believe me, a lot of people will have hard time. Say it's like, if you have $500,000 worth house, it's going to increase to $50 on a monthly payment level. If you have $1 million house, that's like $500 more on your mortgage. Now, if that's only debt you are handling with, that's fine. But if you have a lot of different debt to handle with, it will be really hard to service all those. And that boils down to this. What? If you have money, fine, you manage this. But on the other side of the economy, if this is happening, layoffs, now that's from a big company, then you're looking at the entire sector. Okay, what's happening there? Another big company. All of these guys are laying off. Now, they are restructuring their company because they do understand there is something bad going to happen in next 6 to 12 months or even 24 months. No one can say the exact timing, but this is for sure. It's happening in crypto. It's happening outside crypto. It's everywhere. But you most likely are going to see a huge bump because dollar is going to go sky high. It's going to reach a bubble territory, and anything which reaches a bubble territory usually go back lower. If that's the case, you're going to see this stuff happening again and again. It's not only going to happen in one technology, it's not only going to happen in one sector or one country. It's everywhere. It's spreading. Why? Every central bank is hiking the rate in different regions, which give you that narrative. Yes, it's a quantitative tightening, it's a recession, it may even go worse. But before that, you actually get to see like, okay, prices of cryptocurrencies are bouncing from long-term support or close to that. But the key point here is don't just go euphoric. We need to actually break this level where we are slowing down. Fine. If that resistance is broken, great. Now you have room to upside. You are going a little bit more higher. You do have assets which are performing well, but it all boils down to what Bitcoin is doing. Because the market kind of look at the Bitcoin before they take action. Now, if it's a Bitcoin dominance dropping heavily, now fine, it's going to be an altcoin season. But this is XRP chart on a daily. You have a little bit of difference for XRP chart compared to that of Ether or BTC. Now, this actually suggests that, okay, chances are XRP can break higher. And if that happens, you're going to 0.5, 0.6. But right now, nothing is confirmed. Just your volume is slowly increasing. But we need follow-up volume in next couple of days. If not, we are going to get resisted at the resistance level and slowly move back down. Now, that may not be good. Now, in this market, you do see like there is a lot happening. There's a lot of stuff which is moving fine. And, we were doing a lot of stuff in the Patreon. And we were talking about, low risk, high reward assets in this market. And just the ones which I'm highlighting is like, okay, those are already performing well. Now, it was not just one. We had like 10 different assets in that criteria. And if you're going to look at that market right now, like most of them are doing fine. Like 4 of them are in the top 4 performing assets. I'm like, okay, that's fine. So if you understand the technicals, fine. And you get the information on the right time that this is breaking higher. This is right now a good buy. And you're looking at the target and your entry. And you're like, okay, this is my risk reward. Should I enter? So you get to make good decisions. Wise decisions in this market as the market reverses. Now, do I think this market is going to go sky high? No, but in between, you're going to get these assets doing like this. We were talking about MBL saying, okay, this is going to break higher. This is going to reach this first target. We did that. We broke above that. That was 100% move. And you're looking at quant, right? We were talking about this. We're going to break higher. And if we break higher, keep your eyes on 100 level. Now, we already reached close to that level. So if you are there, do take profits. This is a market where you get a lot of confusion. You don't need that. Now, inside this market, you will actually see a lot of different assets, but we are focusing on XRP. If you are 90% in XRP, you still have room to look for 10% of other assets where they can actually break higher and move higher. Why? Because this market, you don't know which asset is going to perform well. So if you have 5 to 8 assets or even 10, some of them are making ROI where you are taking profits. Because, once you reach those levels, you definitely have to take profit. And as you take the profit, what happens? Now you have more capital to buy another opportunity when it actually pops up. So now coming back to XRP. You're looking at XRP Bitcoin. This chart actually shows you we are still at the resistance. We are making that bull flag pattern. And if we break above the 21-day moving average on a daily chart, you now have an ability to slowly break back above. That will show that XRP is starting to move. You have similar pattern enrolling here in the XRP Ether pair. Now, if we are able to bounce from that support, which I think can happen because you do get the 50-day moving average coming in as a support. So even if you break a little bit lower, that will be like a bear trap and you may bounce back higher. So if you break higher, you do have room to go up. So if you are running higher, that means this is against Ether, this is against BTC. So against USD, you are going to run higher. Now, what's the negative scenario here? You're looking at this pattern in Bitcoin. Fine. We are watching that. We had this pattern, we broke below. We had this pattern, we broke below. Right now, we are in similar pattern. Are we going to break below? We don't know. But if you are looking at this, the decision all boils down to next Fed hike, which is coming on 27th of this month. You still have like a couple of weeks. So if in that 2 weeks you're breaking higher, you're going to test that $28,000-$30,000. Now that's actually a good narrative because the altcoins are actually going to blast off. But if you're still inside this pattern till that time, and Fed is hiking 75 basis points, I think market may go back lower. Now, why am I actually saying that we are going to completely jump onto that area? That boils down to this particular part. If you are looking at this, you are like, okay, I don't understand. No, slow down. Pause the video. Look at this area. If you are watching this one, you will definitely observe that yes, these dates are really important. But if you are looking at these dates, you are looking at the Fed hike and the announcement of inflation rate, and then putting the price there, for example, and BTC, you kind of understand how the market in general moved, right? The crypto market. Now, what is the key take here? For Feb and March, you only had one Fed hike. So that's 2 inflation announcements and then 1 rate hike. Then April, you had 1 rate hike for 1 announcement of inflation. Then again, May, June, you had 2 inflation announcements coming out. And then June 15th, you had a hike. Fine. Now, the next one is going to be July. So if you're going to look at that, you again get a bit more clear picture. So what we are trying to highlight here is if you are looking at the May 4th, you actually got a 50 basis point hike. Now that's actually not a small thing. You actually went 50 basis points. Then if you are looking at June 15th, you again hiked 75 basis points. Now look at the inflation announcement during that time. Feb, it was still high, 7.5. That was a 0.5 increase. Then if you're looking at March, again that's a 0.4 increase. So you kind of got like 0.9 increase before you went for a 25 basis point hike. Now the market actually rallied. Why? It kind of made common sense. Like even after getting like 0.9 increase in the inflation, Fed just hiked 25 basis points. And you're like, the market is like, okay, that's bullish. But that's short term. It didn't leave much. Why? Because after that, you actually got April inflation rate coming up like 0.6. The market was kind of mixed. You went up 15%, then dropped 27%. But all of that happened in 18 days. It took 18 days. So just after last inflation announcement, don't just go euphoric saying the market is going up. It usually takes like that, a week to 2. Right? If you're looking at the Feb 10, 14 days, it dropped 30%. In general, if you're looking at the inflation announcement and the market dropping, the market was dropping around 30%, say an average of 25%. So right now when the market is going up, you should be cautious. Why? Because next one is going to be a higher rate hike. Say you're looking at May 11th. The inflation announcement was like minus 0.2. Fine. Still the market dropped 32% in 7 days. Why? Because before that, on May 4th, you had a 50 basis point hike, which was double than the last one, and the market was being impacted by that. So even though the inflation rate was lower, which came in May 11th, just a week back that you had a 50 basis point hike. Now, 50 basis point right now looks small, but at that time it was really big. Now, historically speaking, you do 5, 10, 15 basis point, 20 basis point. Right now, we're talking about 75 and 100, so you feel this is small, but it is not. It is actually a big deal. Now, on June 10, you actually got 0.3% increase in the inflation. And on June 15th, you actually got 75 basis point increase. So one is that inflation has not peaked. You're still going up. If you had got a lower inflation rate, say 8.2, now it's like, okay, the market peaked in inflation. You're going back down. Fed may not actually do that kind of hike. But right now, it feels like, okay, inflation is moving higher. Fed may go aggressive, and they already informed this time, and next time we are going to do 75 basis point. So the market kind of like, okay, we have to price that in. And right now the 75 basis point is priced in, but the 100 basis point, if it comes, I think it shouldn't be actually surprising us. Why? Because if you are looking at the market, we right now have 9.1% inflation. That's like 0.5 increase, and I anticipate the market can actually go down minus 25%. That's not actually a bad scenario, because if you are putting that into perspective, fine, in month of July, the inflation rate is actually going to come out in August, fine, and August 10, you get that announcement, but you don't have a Fed rate hike in that month. Then September 13th, you get another inflation announcement, which is going to be for August. So if July is going to be the peak, and August it's going to be lower. I think like, okay, July's rate when announced next month, it's going to be something like 10% most likely, because July usually pushes the inflation rate so high. We have seen that, right? So if it's 10 or 11, don't be surprised. And then you get the September version of that, which is for August, and coming back to 8.5. If that happens, I think it may not actually go for another 75 or 100. Rather, they will come to a 50 or 25. Now, that is actually good for the market, indicating, okay, the inflation was going higher. Fed was aggressive. Now, inflation is dropping and Fed is slowing down, which means the market is going to go for a rally. So, what's that time horizon? If I'm to buy inside this market, what is that time? I'm looking for this case. September 10, 13, you're actually going to get the inflation announcement. Then September 21, you're going to get the rate hike. So if that two combines and boil down to a positive stuff, now we just made July. So you still have 1.5 months to prepare for that. If you are looking to accumulate dry powder, you may get another 2 months. So in that scenario, if you happen to have that dry powder, this may actually help you. Now, this is not for anyone coming in new. This is for guys who are already in the market and the average is lower. If you're trying to buy more units, it's fine. You don't have to go for more in. But if you are new to the market, you don't know whether it's going to bounce. And with that bounce, say XRP goes to 0.6. And with this scenario unveiling, XRP drops to 0.4. Now, you miss the 0.3, 0.33 level, right? If you are new in the market. If you're already in the market, you've been buying from 0.1, 0.11, 0.2, 0.3. That's okay. So, for us who have been here for a long time, that's what we are looking at. Because the market is going to show you a lot of different stuff. It's going to go through a lot of bad stuff. Looking at all of this, it's so clear that market is going to give us all pain. This is not bad. But if you understand this, it kind of gives you the opportunity to make more money. Now, as we continue forward, this XRP chart, look at this. What do you think is happening? On one side on your left, what you see is XRP, and the other side you're seeing is Quant. Both of them are in payment sector. Both of them are actually getting adoption. But if you're looking at this, XRP is having similar pattern but did not break higher. Look at the RSI, it's having somewhat similar correlation. If that breaks, it's from Quant. If you're taking that narrative, that price action here, that means you're going to 0.5, 0.6. That is a possibility for XRP. So if that actually comes into play, you and I like, okay, even though Bitcoin breaks higher and go to 2830, I think XRP would be going higher like this. But if that's happening in next 2 weeks and you're getting Fed hike, we may correct back down. Now, if that correction happens to be lower, lighter, that's a great buy the dip moment where you're like, okay, fine, that boiled in. If it's a 100 basis point hike and the market is dropping just 10%, 15%, that's a great buying opportunity, because from there the market is making a higher low and it's going to continue higher, and that's what we want. So you now have September, you now have October, you now have November. Most likely these 3 months you're actually going to go higher. Now, again, inflation may come back. It may not be going down forever, because say another holiday season comes and the price is going to go back higher. Governments are really printing free money and giving it to people. So now this will again push inflation to the upside. That means Fed may come back and hike it. So you may have a 3-month window where you need to take profits. Now, if you want to take profits, you need to know your targets for each asset you have in your portfolio. And that's one of the reasons why we actually do these regular updates based on short-term fluctuation, medium, long-term fluctuation. So if you're a short-term trader, now you know what's your target. If you're a long-term guy, you know now what's your target. And if it's close to that target, say 75, 80% close to that target, take your profit. Because we don't know who's going to take first and the market is going to drop. So you prepare your portfolio in a way like you are well balanced for the upcoming 2-3 months where the price is slowly going to go back up and you do take profits, right? And if you want those targets, those measurements, you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. So guys, if you received value for your time, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that yet. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.